So, very good morning to everyone. My name is Shushant, and today we all are gathered here for a group discussion on a topic. Despite of having such a brilliant IAS and IPS officer, why our India is not growing. So, in my opinion, why our India is not growing? Whenever a IAS officer is allotted, his position or his power allotted to a other town, not his in hometown. So, when he allotted to another hometown, as soon as he knows and start getting knows about that town, he start developing that state, and whenever he start developing that state, the government don't like that thing, and government don't like that thing, and they start transferring that particular IS officer to another state. So because of that, but in my opinion, the IS officer and IPS officer are not responsible for that. The person who is responsible for that are our youth, and there are some major factors that are like unemployment is also the reason why our India is not growing, because there's so much unemployment in our country. Because of that, our economy is not growing. So yeah, in my opinion, this all about this. So I would like uh, other peoples to take part.
Hello everyone, my name is Badal Kumar, and I agree with Shashank all about he said that there are also other reasons behind this that India is underdeveloped, and the reason is like a population, unemployment, and others like the mindset of the Indian uh, in India, the all the youth is uh, is busy in the preparation of the government exam, and they do not spend their time to learn new skills, and so it can be help in their future, and and like the gender gap between women's and males. So we can see in the youth of India, like most of the place, and before some time in India, there are lots of cases in that uh, there is a gender gap between girls and boys. Like boys have many powers. They can do everything whatever they want, and they can choose whatever they want to do in their future. But girls do not do like uh, their future goals. They do not go anywhere according to their will. So it is the also a reason that India is underdeveloped. Like uh, in India, girls are getting supported in the businesses and also our works, also in the works. So after a long time, and it will increase if the all the population of the women in India will support the businesses and all the workload of the India.
Hello everyone, my name is Shubham, and firstly I would like to oppose your point. You may be right at some time, but wrong or also wrong. You said that the individual IAS or IPS officer, they always get posted from different locations instead of their home. But it is sometimes a good thing, because an individual posted on his home city or a town, he or she will be act like a raja, like we can say king. So he or she will create nepotism, like he or she, an individual is my brother, or he is from my family, so he or she will always support that person. So it will create an inequality between a lot of peoples. But in my opinion, what I feel like that the biggest problem is democracy, means the government of people. That means, as an IAS officer, an individual can't deny the pupils, because whatever people want, government does. Government do whatever people wants. If we oppose the government or any IAS, IPS, then what happens? We all know that, because democracy is a major cause. What I feel like.
Good evening, all. Myself, Sapna Dikshit. I disagree with your point, actually. There is something, first, we understand what is development here. Development is not related to the कि योजनाएं मिल गई, उसका लाभ उठा लिया, सड़कें बन गई, वो सब कुछ हो गया. It is not all about this. So development के लिए हमने first point is understand this, the political, this is the face of the democracy. Political party is the face of democracy, and the IS and IPS officers is the pillar of democracy. It's just like a social media is also the pillar, fourth pillar of democracy. So I totally disagree with this. And talking about the development process, development is segregated in the various parts, like in education, agriculture, and the construction, infrastructure. So many things are there. So in talking about the ground level, there is a three tier in the democracy, and the grassroots level, it means the participation of the people must to strengthen the development. So I would say ki development is all about strengthen the people, train the people, and empower the people for the developments. So if anyone want to say something, then please. Yeah, sure.
So, hey everyone, this is me, Prajal Pathak here, and I'm agree with most of the points. Like you said, also right that people have to change. Yeah, as we know that most of the people live in rural areas and they follow their what ancient practice and primitive mindset. So if someone wants to change their way, then they don't change because they follow their same tradition all the way. I'm talking about village peoples. They don't want to change. They think that what they are doing is right according to them, and they influence their youth also. So that's the condition. So that's the reason also. And we all know that if a official or IAS IPS officer, they are brilliant minds in our India. If someone, we all know that what is politics, what make them to do that thing. So if someone wants to think out of the box and wants to do something else, then there comes politicians which oppose them to do that thing. And that's the reason is, yeah, politics, of course. So anyone other wanna
And
say?
politics leads to corruption, and corruption means up like apna sole preference is there, public interest is going out, and the personal interest is coming out from the IAS and IPS officers. Yeah.
So my question is, what do you mean by corruption? Please kindly explain.
Yeah, please. Corruption is all about serving your own purpose in the name of others. That is corruption. So it means if you want to on the field, and if you want to take some steps around, and आपका काम हो नहीं रहा है, and you give some bribes on other people's, like the civil servants mostly, because the civil servant is the ground level personality, है ना? If you are able to talk, so you must go for the civil servant. There's no politicians come around for the peoples to talking about. So I mean the civil servants somewhat influence with the political parties and the political interest, and then the corruption comes out, and they चाहते ना चाहते हुए भी they serve their own interest.
But what I believe is that India have two type of government: permanent executive and temporary executive. Whatever government works on the legislative assembly or maybe on a parliament, they are just temporary executive. But what we all know that IPS and IAS, they are permanent executives.
No,
They listen to me. Let me complete my point. They have powers, they have their own rights, they can make their own decisions by their own. It's their legal authority. But what they do not do anything like to change the things. It's depend on the personal individual. But what I believe is that if an individual IS or maybe IPS really wants to do something without any interference, or maybe not, he can do something for the society.
My dear friend, sorry for this. Actually, if you heard about the Ashok Khemka, 51 transfers because he's honest personality and the politician don't want to do their work. So it happens sometimes. Ki suspension, transfers, it hurts the family system, mental pressure. These all are things come and in and around the civil servant. So that's why I mean to say ki this is also a problem. So if they want to do one step ahead, but somehow it take a back step.
So, hello everyone. My name is Anska Dikshit. I'm giving my some points on favor of IAS and IPS officer in country development. That IAS and IPS officers are our country boosts IAS and IPS intelligence. It means, I mean, IAS and IPS intelligence is invaluable because of politicals of our country. And in some other points are this some other points also, like cultural and some issues, unequal distribution of resources, and ec- un- widespread poverty. This is also the reason that's why our country is not developing.
Hello everyone. So I would like to say development of any country is not dependent on the policies, constitution, and the intelligent people, uh, intelligent people in the administration. It is dependent on the implementation of the policies for the betterment of the persons. Then why our IAS and IPS officers are failing to implement these policies? Actually, for any implementation or any project, we need permission or involvement of many peoples like peoples, politics, and they should be agreed in any project. If any one of them are disagree, then the project gets delayed. And in India, it is very easy to bring differences in any project because of its complex nature, and it is very difficult to come on a concurrent point.
My name is Prashant Chaudhary. So here is my point that we can all are says that politicians are the main reason that India is not getting developed. But who teach politician to do corruption? They are IPS and IAS officers because they are using their mind in a negative ways. Politicians, when he comes in newly in politics, the IAS and IPS officers who teach how to do corruption. If IAS and IPS officer, no, if uh, there is a one policy comes in under the politicians, but if IAS and IPS officer have the mint of money for this policy, then they will allow the policies done in a short time. But when they are think that the policies is not mint money for them, they are stop that policies and arguing that they're taking time, they are so much times. But now we are saying that the IAS and IPS officers exam was third highest world exam, but still they are India is not developed because IAS and IPS officers are not in the part of developing in India. They are the public servants. They only do the public duties which was told by their higher authorities or politicians or many other others. That's why we cannot say that IAS and IPS officers are the part of developing in India. India has a world's fifth largest economy. Its GDP is 3.53 trillion. Still, India is developing, but there is many other countries whose GDP is less than 1 trillion, but still they are developed. So the development is according to the uh, per capita income of the peoples. But India has a vast population in all over the world. That's why our per capita income is too less. That's why we are not developed. We are in developing way. But in a few years, we are our economy is going to be increased in a fast way, as we are seeing after independence in 1947 to 2014. Our GDP is just increasing up to 1 trillion, but after that in 10 years our GDP is up to 1 trillion to 3.53 trillions. So now we can say that in a future, still up to 230 or 245, we can be a developed country in the world. But now we are talking about IAS and IPS officers. So I can give you an example of Godra Kand of 26 November. In this program, a train was burst by the 2000 public. There was called Sevakar. Sevakar was the persons was from Ayodhya to Ahmedabad. So there was three authorities was made by that time. When the 2002, the one authority was made by the state government and central government by the BJP. He says that the Sevakars was dead by the 2000 of the publics, and the authorities members are IAS officers, judges, and retired judges. These type of members are making a committee. And after in 2004, when Congress is in the center, then they again started the these things and make another committee. And the committee was saying that they are not a work of 2000 public, or they are just a act which was held in, it was not pre-planned. In this committee is also having a IAS IPS officers, and the court will make another committee. In this also have IAS officers and judges of retired one. They gives another type of the committee summon was third one with already different. They says that there are 5 or 6 persons come into the another railway stations, enter to this boogie, and the can was for them. So these three community have different IAS officers, different judges, and all are giving different answers. So we cannot say that IAS and IPS officers was doing the work by their own. They was on the under of politicians. Those politicians wants to do, they would do like that. So this is the main reason that IAS and IPS officers do not do their own work by their own powers. They are doing work under the politicians.
I would like to say that you said that IAS and IPS officers, they are bounded by their politicians. But who bounds politicians? Tell me.
Politicians are answerable to the public.
Yeah, that's why. So the politicians are bounded by the public. So that's why public is responsible for the lack of development. And some of my friends said that IPS and IAS, their minds are unusable. Like they said that, not valuable. Well, invaluable maybe say, but as my friend said that UPSC is the third toughest exam in the world. So this exam creates the mindset of those pupils how to deal with the flexibility. Like in India, if I talk about Agra, you can say that if you ask about 10 pupils, they all have their different ideas, different rituals, maybe different religion, different views. Now, if I talk about some developed countries, they have a limited population. What they believe, some countries, developed countries, they have a less population. Just because of that, they follow a single task or single views. But in India, if we gather 10 pupils, they will all have different views. So how to work with them, how to tackle how to tackle how to
We are bound together.
how to tackle with this flexibility. Suppose if an IAS or IPS takes an action, then 9 or maybe more people will oppose him. Then what will happen? This will create a political drama. So just because of this, the exam is just created or designed to make them like this. And one more thing I would like to say, implementation. Yeah, I agree with your point. Implementation is not done. But if we can see that in government hospitals like district hospitals, maybe SN Medical College, you may see the condition. You may see the condition. There are a lot of equipment. They are still missing. They are still missing, and and you can see the density of patients. The more patients comes here and there is no equipment, so who is responsible for that? An IAS officer or a government authority?
Officer is responsible for that.
So
I'm asking you.
we are talking about the responsibility of IAS and IPS officers.
Okay, I would like to say something. Uh, in it, actually, besides corruption, there are so many factors who are actually responsible for this. As he said, so many equipments are missing. These are the reason for the illiteracy. We never compare illiteracy, like we compare our country's GDP economy with other countries. Like I can take example of Russia. The literacy of Russia is 99%, America is 75%, and Germany, Japan, the literacy rate of there is approx 95% of, but our India is 75%. 25% are illiterate. 25%, that means approx 40%, 40 million people are illiterate, equal to America's population. These are the actually reason. In December 2019, government passed a bill of NRC and CAA. We are actually witness what would happen that time. They all against that bill,
Without knowing the reality of that bill.
and said why they would have to show the certificate. And
I must say this. We are talking about the IPS and IAS, but there is all other civil servants also, public servant also. If we noted there here, the IAS and IPS and the Group A services have trained with some facilities in the Labasna and Hyderabad types. But I'm talking about, what about the SDMs? What about the police reforms? There, I think this training must be required for the civil servant, for the public servant. It is has to be happen there, because without training, proper training, there is lacking some gap in the development, and it's still going on further. So my point is this: ki training is required for the development, for the despite of the IPS and IS, something like that. SDM, there is no training. Result aaya, and the next day they will go and join the services and doing. In head constable, like all these things, there is no training for there. So I must say, in the technological era, there is no training. So I must say the training is required for the better development.
Like ma'am said, right?
Not like that, जो reforms हमको चाहिए, अभी भी हम पुराने 1980s के reform से ही चलते आ रहे हैं, and we are in the 2023 era. So
I maybe totally disagree with you, because you said that training is not there in other government.
proper
But
utilization of resources
but
are not there.
but I would like to tell you that a person who is, example, I'm getting the example, constable.
Yeah.
What kind of training do you want he or she should get?
It's a technological era. I don't think
Why?
so. That they even don't know how to complain on a technology. If you go there, they even don't know how to tackle with the technology. Yeah? So I must say that training, skill development is there, training is there, and many more things. I don't know, because I'm not a part of this
Yeah.
system.
I would like to tell you one thing, that once a new recruitee joins the police department or any department, he or she act as a I'm the most not intelligent, I'm the most trustworthy, okay, trustworthy, brave person of the world. But when he feels the actual reality, practical reality, then he becomes like that. I think you may notice that a lot of constables, a lot of policemen, they just don't know how to talk or how to act or how to work. I agree with you, but actually training performance is right. But what happens that what they when they go to the practical world, practical way, the people around them, the
These
culture
types of training
things,
are also inculcated in the system.
we can't
I must
provide
say this.
we can't provide that much
See,
training.
in the if you're talking about the civil servants, so the Labasna, I think you all may heard about the Labasna, Lal Bahadur Shastri University. So here is the IAS and IPS officer are trained with the Bharat Darshan. So Bharat Darshan is all about the ground level reality. So ये Himalayan trekking and the Bharat Darshan, they go the villages and villages and rural development are there. They must know about, in not a first instance they be a DM of their jilla something or district. ये first in the first instance they will be a SDM, or in a lower categories groups are there. They work on that conditions and they learn the things. इसके बाद they move forward and then do the what they feel like ki, this is the important task, or the implementation policies are there, service deliveries are there. So I must say the training is the well quoted, I must say again.
So I would like to ask you that what kind of training you want. Like if you want, listen guys, suppose a thief snatches something, and he or she is moving. So what do you want? An IPS or IAS officer is moving around him, or maybe, or listen to me.
Guys, you all are going to aware to the topic. We are discussing about
Development.
So first of all, I would like to answer your question about the hospital. As you are saying that government should gives the money only to the hospital's MD, and the MD has to right to purchase those things, equipment, but they are not purchasing. They are just taking the money into their pocket. So the government was not responsible for that. This topic was ended here. Now I will like to talk about IAS and IPS officer. We are coming again on that topic. So the development, if the IAS and IPS officer wants that she want to be a make a development or developing our country, so what will we do there? Like we are talking about Kiran Bedi. She was the first woman IPS officer. She do many she will clear many of the cases at that time period. But what will be happen? They were just transferring from one place to another place because of their honesty. So if the IPS and IAS officer was doing their duty with their own powers, so he or she will get transferred. If they are working with the politicians, with their with the politicians manners, they are not getting transferred. But the IAS and IPS officer was thinking about that. If they want to change the mindset of the politician, they will, because many of the policies they will told about the politicians that will help to the politicians as well as the public, they will be implemented by them. But they was not doing these things. They only doing that the policies was helping politicians and himself. They was implemented these policies, but they can also help the politicians to implement those policies which can help both politicians and public, but they are not doing this thing.
So I would like to add some points like IAS and PCS officers are like a puppet of the politicians, as you already said that. In an interview, I saw a video, and the former IAS officer, I don't remember the name of the officer, but he told the reality of the politicians and the relationship of the IAS, that whenever the work of the IAS and PCS is to suggest the politician what is right and what is wrong. So and whenever they suggest something to the politician, like uh, the CM of the any state, then sometimes they behave like, are you suggesting me? I'm the superior, and there is no one. And they behave like this, and after that they become yes men, and whatever he said, that they agree with that. And and there are many cases, like as he's told that about the health sector is good. And we can see in uh, we can see in Gurgaon, there is a government hospital. In that 68 children were dead because of the lack of the infrastructure and equipments in that case. And we can see there is a web series like the Railway Man, when in 1984 there is a gas leak in Bhopal. And because in that case, in Bhopal there are many hospitals, and there was no infrastructure. Because of that, people are dead because of the equipment and the good uh, medicines. So
So what do you want to say? The tragedies people was dying in Bhopal. Who's responsible for that?
yeah, it's
Is
also
IAS and IPS officer is responsible
no,
for that?
it's like a government.
Why government should give the money to the doctors, MDs of the hospital? They are not providing the facilities.
Okay, I will tell you in before the COVID-19, the budget was passed in before the COVID-19, and only the 1.3% of the GDP was introduced for the like health sector. But after COVID-19, only 2.1% of the GDP are introduced for the health sector. So and I think it is a very low amount for the health sector.
3.53 trillion. It was the amount of our GDP. If we are talking about 2.1% of 3.53 trillion money, it was about $20 million. So it is less amount to be the equipments of the government hospitals.
But where are the equipments?
At
You
that
can
time,
see. You can see.
India have less hospitals at that time. We don't need that much type of cost. This is away from the topic. Just come
I would
on.
like to add on something, as my friend was saying, in the Bhopal gas tragedy that occurs in the December 1984. The problem was that the gas methyl isocyanate, that was a harmful gas that spreaded all around the Bhopal city. The responsible factor was a government. Actually, what happened? It was an American company. It was an American company, and it was a pesticide company. And a government should not allow that kind of companies on the middle part of the India in the public place. It is strictly prohibited. But what happened that time? The American company got registered to the government, and then government allowed them to open that kind of harmful pesticide factories. So just because of that, it happened. Now I would like to say, who was responsible for that? No, government was responsible for that. So not we had lot of hospitals still in 1984, but the fact was that it was all done. The gas was harmful gas was spreaded everywhere. So doctors or maybe health workers, they couldn't do anything because all had happened earlier. That was my point.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Nyukti Sharma. I have listened many points and I have to add some of points. Like many IAS officers cleared the exam, that is toughest exam, and most of the politicians are not literate, I think, and many of the politicians are set on a very highest post and they are not literate as that much that is I think IAS officers. So that is just because of people set them on that post, take them on their highest positions, and just because of that they rule the IAS officers, and then after that they rule the IAS officers. That is the main issue, that development doesn't occur because that is not inherited. Generally people vote them, or whatever the reason that government came and illiterate people came on their positions and take their position and rule the IAS and IPS officers. Most of the people want to solve their problems through government, but actually that doesn't occur because of the corruption. Many of the points that come corruption, which was generally occurred by government, and which was actually we blame IAS officers, bureaucrats, and all other peoples, but that generally occurs because of illiterate people which are sat on the highest positions, and they rule that IAS IPS officers, they doesn't want to implement such things which are very helpful for their area, for the particular country, and which actually helps which actually just politicians wants to fill their own pockets. They don't want to implement such rules or regulations or things which are very helpful for that particular area. That's why development is not occurring. So this is the people is the reason. People mainly elect the people which are not literate. See, they have to understand, they have to vote such peoples, they are literate, or they have to tolerate these things.
So I would like to conclude here. The civil servant and the politicians is the major discussions are here. So the balance between the dual as a civil servant, they has a dual responsibility, like balance between the politicians' interest and the own interest which serves to the public delivery. So they have to be accountable, honest. Public servant needs to be there to strengthen the democracy, to strengthen the development in the country. Thank you so much.